In today's episode of the Pathmark Presents podcast, I have an interesting guest here with me today. I'm with MK Getler-Porizkova, and she's hailing over as the CMO at Loop and Tie. And Loop and Tie is basically delivering gifts that give back. And that's a very interesting differentiator that we want to talk about, where you can basically send unique, elevated gifts that help, number one, your brand to stand out, but also that make a difference in that give back. Right? For example, one of the elements would be to, a carbon offsetting gifts that are being sent out. But we want to deep dive into that much more today with MK. So welcome to the show.
Hello, and thanks so much for having me.
Of course. So maybe give us a quick overview. What is Loop and Tie all about in your own words?
Yeah, so as you said, Loop and Tie is the gifting platform that gives back. I often joke with folks and say that we're really a sustainability platform with a gifting problem. We focus a lot of our efforts in finding ways to give back through the acts of sustainability in environmental, economic, and social sustainability. Right now, we believe that most consumers are making the decision to partner with a product, brand, or service based off of the shared values that they have with one another. For example, I know Pathmark is particularly conscious about the carbon footprint that you're leaving behind in the world. And so you might want to partner with Loop and Tie because of our completely carbon regenerative shipping practices, meaning for every ounce of carbon that we put out into the world, we sequester more than double the amount of carbon that's actually out there. Our efforts really do want to make sure that everybody is aligned around those certain value systems and also have a really great gifting experience as well. You mentioned the word unique. Our gifts are well known for being stylish, for being trendy, kind of quirky and interesting. Great conversational pieces, if you will, for when you have guests and or friends over at your house.
That makes a lot of sense. And I'm gathering from this has obviously a B2B angle to this, that companies can on board and employees can gift to whoever they think deserves one. But maybe tell me a little bit about what is an maybe ideal client, or who's just benefiting the most, like who's fitting really well into the sort of Loop and Tie environment as a customer.
Yeah, I think your assessment is right. That B2B tends to be a particularly good fit for our product for a couple of reasons. One, so often B2B brands have a hard time initiating and building that trust with their prospects and or customers. And partnering with a platform like Loop and Tie actually helps to put some of those brand values at the forefront of the relationship, to just say, hey, we acknowledge that we support working with, a female founded business such as Loop and Tie. And they also spend time thinking about the environment and the environmental impact that they're making with the gift platforms that they choose from. Additionally, what's interesting about Loop and Tie, and while we definitely have the differentiation of being so conscientious about our acts of sustainability, we're also a platform that offers a freemium version or product-led version of our tool. And so we often see consumers or B2C usage of our platform of people coming in and signing up, wanting to pay forward the gratitude that they may have to others. Our objective and our fascination really has always been, how can technology build better connection between humans? And we don't feel like that should just only be for the B2B brands out there. So we've developed that B2C offering to make sure that everybody can spread the love around the world.
Since obviously there's a lot of B2B, the marketers listening to the show, I might sort of keep my questions a bit more on the B2B side of things, if that works for you. What I'm curious about is, how do these folks learn about Loop and Tie? Like, what's the journey looking like? On how they, maybe in other words, what are the client acquisition channels that you guys leverage to, introduce them to the Loop and Tie world?
Yeah, I will acknowledge that we are pretty privileged that anytime someone receives a Loop and Tie gift, they get to know Loop and Tie first and foremost because of the gift experience that they have. So we kind of have that advantage in our inbound motion. Outside of that, though, we spend a lot of time partnering with the communities that we want to make impact with. So more often than not, folks will learn about Loop and Tie through the sustainability initiatives that we have around the nonprofit organizations that we partner with. We're really tight with the organization Dollar Donation Club. And with that partnership, we spend a lot of time educating the space on what it means to think about environmental sustainability through removing plastic from riverways, or removing plastic from our ocean, or planting more trees around the world. Again, they'll find us more through educational resources. And then once they come into our ecosystem, which predominantly is our website, but we've started investing a lot more time and energy in curating community throughout our social platforms. So you'll see more often than not, we'll be active on LinkedIn, mobilizing and igniting passion in our communities around what acts of sustainability or thoughtfulness or gratitude they can use to stay engaged and connected with the folks that they want to or already do business with.
Very cool. Now, how do you think about the website? Because you mentioned, for example, there's a very interesting viral component with obviously the gifts being brought into the different households in the end. How do you think about the website? Like, what role does the website play in your eyes?
I'm not entirely sure that this is the exact stat, but I think our website is one of, if not the top performing sales rep for our entire company. Because we have that product offering that's available. It's a pay as you go system where you could just add your credit card in and gift and go. We want to make the process of gratitude as frictionless as possible for everyone. But because of that, our website is a very high performing sales rep. In addition to being its own sales rep, I oftentimes think about the website as a way for people to just become more intimately familiar with what our brand values are. So we spend time talking and educating folks around, what sustainability actually is, that it's not just about the environment. It's about how do you think about impacting the economies on the local, national, or global level with the business practices that you adhere to. It's also about social sustainability. It's about talking about the social causes that matter to you as a brand and orienting audiences to what you're passionate about. And so our website is just another vehicle for us to demonstrate and help educate and align folks around those brand values and what we stand for in this world.
Cool. No, that definitely gives a great overview. I think we did a nice sort of, walk through the world of Loop and Tide, like what you guys are doing, the impact of what that you guys are having, and how you're thinking about the channels. What I would love to do is, learn a little bit about your journey as a marketer. The first thing that I'm curious about is there is so much content out there, and even a CMO can probably, every day still keep learning and learn new things. Where do you personally like to sort of get your, let's say, marketing education from? Is it like peer groups? Is it books? Is it, I mean, obviously it's going to be the practical daily work, but where do you find great information for yourself?
You nailed it on the head with your first option, peer groups. I spend a lot of time working alongside my peer groups. I'm connected with a great CMO community called CMO Coffee Talk, where we spend a lot of time talking about the trials and tribulations and the unsung woes of the CMO and how many different hats that we have to wear on any given day. In other conversations, like today's conversation, for example, we talked about blockchain and Web3 and the implication of the evolving landscape on marketers and how marketing fundamentally might change in the future and how we can best prepare ourselves for it.
Cool.
Another area that I go that might be just a little bit more self-serving than it is for professional needs is TikTok. I know. It sounds like a weird place to go for key learnings in marketing, but some of the best, most educational content is being shared on TikTok right now, and the most entertaining content is being shared right now. There's a reason their user base has far exceeded Facebook at this point in time. And as a marketer, understanding why and how certain content starts to gain traction amongst consumers is a really important lesson to learn to start to fold in iterations in the marketing that you put out into the world.
Very cool. As we slowly wrapping it up for the interview, I have some rapid fire questions for you. They're a bit of a surprise for the guests, but I'm pretty sure harmless. At least I should say most of them. No, are you ready? Are you ready for those?
I think I am. I don't know. That hesitation made me a little nervous.
I'm just kidding. Very good. So what's the last book you read or the last podcast you listened to?
Yeah, the last book that I read is actually a book on yoga nidra, which is a form of meditation that accesses a deep sleep similar to a meditative state. So you can help understand how you navigate the world and the emotions that you work in.
Mhm. What's the one thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
At the moment right now, it's very much preparation for the holiday season. More often than not, folks want to express their gratitude during Thanksgiving here in the US or towards the end of the year around the world. And so right now, all sites are set on, we're already living as if though it's November. So all sites are set on the holiday gifting season right now.
Mhm. If there would be no boundaries in tech, what's the one thing that you would fix for your role as a marketer today?
Oof. No boundaries in tech. I would say a true, complete, and accurate journey of the buyer, pre, during, and post and repurchase of our products. That journey, as circuitous and messy and like a bowl of spaghetti as it might be, I would be particularly interested to look at that and examine that a lot more closely without having disparate data sets, helping me make assumptions around that.
Mhm. Very cool. And the very last question would be, right? If today would be your very, very first day, right? Joining your journey as a marketer. We can go back all the way, to the let's say we go back to Ohio State, right? All the way back. So what would be the one advice you would give yourself for your journey as a marketer?
Well, I would say the piece of advice that has been made me as successful as I have been is just always being curious. And if something at all just piques my interest, go explore it, find out what it is, learn more about it. And the second thing that might complement that is never say no to an opportunity that may unfold. That curiosity and never saying no mindset really leads to some excellent adventures. And you've already developed the skill sets you need to be a continuous learner, to
Mhm.
be a top performer in a really fast-paced and ever-changing landscape.
Very cool. Okay. I really appreciate you took the time with us today to be a guest on Pathmark Presents. Thanks a lot for joining today's episode.
The pleasure is all mine, Lucas. Thank you.